Sexual offender or Playboy prince? Prince Andrew, from the start of the British royal family, has become a torment and a person who scrapes the bottom in popularity rankings. The interview, in which Andrew ultimately sang, was watched by almost the entire world in 2019, and the news of Andrew's involvement in one of the biggest scandals of the turn of the century remained on the front page of newspapers for years. Join me for the story of the downfall of Prince Andrew. Hi, I'm Anna and welcome to On Royals, when I talk everything royal related. Subscribe to support my channel. Who is Prince Andrew? The third child of Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip, long considered Queen Elizabeth II's favorite child. Playboy prince, handsome, second in line to the throne with a few major responsibilities, yet enjoying privileges stemming from his high position in the line of succession to the British throne. A fruitful military career, including participation in the Falkland War. Compared to Charles, he appeared more friendly. His entertaining nature eventually led him to exclusion from public life and embarrassment for the royal family. In 1986, he married Sarah Ferguson, and then he got a title of the Duke of York. They have two daughters, Beatrice and Eugenie. Sarah and Andrew divorced, but now they are living together, so we've heard that they're quite a happy couple. Who is Jeffrey Epstein? The person who is very much involved in the scandal. You've probably heard of Jeffrey Epstein. In a very short summary, I'll introduce his profile, but I really encourage you to watch a Netflix show about him. It's a documentary miniseries called Jeffrey Epstein, Filthy Rich. And from there, you have a lot of information about his wrongdoings. An incredibly wealthy man who belonged to the circle of the incredibly wealthy Americans, a certain social elite. Photograph, among others, with Trump, Bill Clinton, Bill Gates, and a number of other top entrepreneurs, politicians, artists, and generally leaders of modern America. In 2008, he was accused of procuring minors for prostitution, as well as a series of other sexual offenses on a wide scale and of international scope, such as sex trafficking. As the wave of accusations gained momentum and more facts came to light, Epstein committed suicide in New York arrest on August 10th, 2019. The issue of his death was questioned by Epstein's lawyer, but the coroner claimed it was a suicide. Prince Andrew and Jeffrey Epstein. They met in 1999, though some sources claim that it was earlier in the 90s. They met because of a common friend, Ghislaine Maxwell, who was a university friend of Prince Andrew and girlfriend of Epstein's. Andrew invited Maxwell and Epstein on multiple occasions to royal residences such as Balmoral in Scotland, Shooting Weekend in Sandringham, or Princess Beatrice's 18th birthday party in Windsor Castle. And those facts, and also many photographs or some photographs we can see of Prince Andrew and Epstein, prove a quite close relationship, or at least some kind of friendship between Andrew and Jeffrey. In 2008, Epstein was convicted of soliciting a minor for prostitution and spent 13 months in prison. Already then, photos of Andrew and Jeffrey were surfacing in the press, and it was a big royal topic. Many expected that in such a case, Andrew would end his relationship with Epstein. However, as it turned out, the acquaintance survived, and in December 2010, they were photographed walking together in Central Park. The photo was published in early 2011, and around the same time, a photo of Andrew and Virginia Roberts, now Jeffrey, also appeared in the media, but sources close to Prince Andrew claim that the photo is not authentic, and for now, the topic of the photo with Virginia kind of died, but it will be back. Already back then in 2011, the issue of Andrew's acquaintances and the deteriorating reputation made him resign from the position of ambassador of British trade and representing the government of United Kingdom in this way. He held this position for 10 years and was known to be quite good at the job. In 2011, news also surfaced that Prince Andrew arranged for Epstein to help pay off the debts of his already ex-wife Sarah Ferguson in the amount of £15,000. 2015 now. In 2014-15, Virginia Roberts, now Jeffrey, started to speak publicly about her life, about how she was recruited by Epstein as a minor into his, let's say, court, and was instructed by Epstein to have sex with Prince Andrew 3 times in London, New York, and Epstein's private island in the Virgin Islands. Virginia conveyed that she felt compelled to those activities and couldn't refuse because she felt that if she did, she could be murdered or kidnapped. Documents in this case were only made public in the summer of 2019. Andrew denied all the allegations and the case did not go to court at that time. 2019. When the news of Jeffrey Epstein's death spread in 2019, attention turned back to Prince Andrew, especially since a video recorded in 2010 was published showing Prince Andrew leaning out of Epstein's New York house. And in the recording, you can see him saying goodbye to young girls leaving the building. Also, the mentioned before papers in the case of Virginia Roberts surfaced, and altogether it was asked, how is it possible that the prince didn't know what was going on in the house and didn't know what was going on with Epstein? Shortly after, Virginia Roberts appeared on steps of the New York court, again accusing Prince Andrew of sexual assault. And also she said, Andrew knows what he did. On August 24th, 2019, a statement from Buckingham Palace appeared in which Andrew explains his acquaintance with Epstein. He emphasizes that he met Epstein once or twice a year during those meetings. During those meetings, he wasn't aware or even suspected behavior that led to Epstein's arrest and conviction. He emphasizes that his meeting in 2020 with Jeffrey was a mistake and regrets that Jeffrey, whom he knew, evidently was not genuinely based on what we know about him now. Andrew emphasizes that he sympathizes with those who have been affected by Epstein's actions. Rather exhaustive statement, and instead of calming the situation, only fueled the development of the case. The famous interview. So this all led to the famous interview that was recorded in Buckingham Palace November 14th and aired November 16th on BBC 2019. It was aired during the show Newsnight, and it was a conversation between Prince Andrew and Emily Maitlis. Prince Andrew said how he met Epstein, but also the prince said he does not regret friendship with Epstein, saying that the people I met and the opportunities I was given to learn through him were very, very useful, especially in his role of the ambassador of trade. Prince Andrew denied knowing Virginia, firstly, and secondly, having intimate contact with her on March 10th, 2001, because he was at home with his daughters. And during that day, they also went to walking for a party at Pizza Express with his older daughter, Princess Beatrice. Prince also said that he has no memory of meeting Virginia and absolutely doesn't remember the photo being taken with her at Maxwell's residence in London. The prince also commissioned an investigation to determine if the photo was doctored, but they were not inconclusive. He said he never went upstairs in Maxwell's house and questioned his attire. The clothes he wore in the photo were his traveling clothes, which he did not wear when he was in the country. Andrew also addressed Virginia's story of dancing with him at Trump Club. According to Virginia, he was sweaty and buying her drinks, but Andrew said he wasn't sweating because of a temporary loss of ability to sweat due to excess adrenaline during the Falklands War, and he also added that he doesn't drink. Andrew admitted he stayed at Epstein's residence for several days in December 2010. He went there to inform Epstein of the end of their acquaintance. He attended dinner and took care of other matters while staying there, and he stayed there because it was a very convenient place to stay. However, he said he regrets staying there and meeting Epstein. What happened after the interview? Despite Andrew himself being very happy about the interview just after recording it, after it being aired, it was described as a disaster. And some people claim that it was the worst public relations crisis for the royal family since the death of Princess Diana. Why was the interview a disaster? Andrew haven't even slightly criticized Epstein's wrongdoing and what Epstein was basically doing through majority of his life, and had no sympathy for the victims. He did not apologize for his behavior, showed any remorse or any guilt, absolutely nothing. Instead, he answered questions quite arrogantly, and he was absolutely detached from any reality. And his excuses, like the one with sweating, was challenged in the media almost just after the interview. On November 20th, 2019, a statement from Buckingham Palace was released where it was announced that Prince Andrew is stepping back, suspending his public duties for the foreseeable future. Institutions and foundations Andrew was a patron of, and also companies that sponsored his initiatives, almost immediately ended the relation, and always it was announced later on that Andrew would resign from all 230 patronages he had. What happened next? In August 2021, Virginia Giuffre sued Prince Andrew in New York court, accusing him of sexual assault and intentional infliction of emotional distress. The lawsuit was filed under the New York Child Victims Act, a law extending the statute of limitations if the victim was a minor at the time of the incident, and Virginia was just 17 years old. In February 2022, the case was settled in out-of-court settlement and signed between the parties. Andrew made a payment to Giuffre's Abuse Victim Foundation. Allegedly, it was £12 million. What's the future for Prince Andrew? The Queen supported Andrew for years, and we may assume that she believed he was innocent. However, after the interview, public absolutely judged Prince Andrew, and I would say, of course, you cannot judge a person until he is proven guilty, but he was basically, like, his whole reputation was absolutely destroyed. And maybe I haven't underlined it yet, but Andrew was never found legally guilty. They had a settlement with Virginia, which helped not having an open court case. Though I am absolutely on the side of the victims, and if you see interviews with Virginia, if you see interviews with other girls, it is absolutely heartbreaking, and I basically stayed by them. And Prince Andrew was severely judged by media and basically British nation. You can also see in the rankings of popularity of British members of the royal family that he is regularly at the bottom. And Prince Andrew appears in media only in the context of the royal family as family. So when Prince Philip died, or Queen Elizabeth II died, we can see Prince Andrew somewhere in the background, but the chance to see him working as a royal prince, I would say those times are gone and will never come back. And for now, when Charles is the king, his brother, he may still allow Prince Andrew to, go to the church with the royal family on Christmas Day and so on and so forth. But once William will be the king, I do not expect such things. Andrew is definitely a burden for the royal family. His reputation is a burden for the royal family, and I do not expect him ever coming back to royal duties. I'm so sorry. Let me know what you think. Will Prince Andrew be back or not? And whether you see the latest movie from Netflix about this very interview I mentioned, Scoop. It is very interesting, but it is concentrating more on the background of what happened before the interview and how really the interview came to life. Thank you so much for watching, and if you're still here, remember to give a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more royal stories. Thank you so much. Bye bye.